think in terms of rats and garbage. Smelly old garbage draws the rats. A ritual with all that torture, with all that pain, ultimately prescribed by the demons in the first place, it draws them. And once they begin to open the blood gate, that's what they attach to in the context ritual. Then when a child or a human is killed, that's when the demons are released to the practitioners. So it's all about their unsatiable hatred of God. Anything they can do to harm humanity, harm innocence as an attack on God in a sense, there's no question in their nature, they don't shed a tear. They don't have any mercy.
People often ask me the same question, which is, what's it like in space?
Fantasyland, the happiest kingdom of them all.
I'd like to help you understand why it's a place that is
magic.
The realization that humanity is able to send things to that dot there in the sky, it's
I don't know, it's a magical feeling.
It really was a magical day.
And the mission and the magic begin.
Welcome to Storytime from Space.
My favorite part about living up there was the flying. I loved it. It was like being Peter Pan.
Everybody's a superhero.
You're not floating, you're flying.
So the space station is the place where mission and magic come together.
Here's the world of imagination, hopes, and dreams. Magic and make-believe are reborn, and fairy tales come true. Dedicated to the young and the young in heart. To those who believe that when you wish upon a star, your dreams do come true.
Some quick
programming.
The views of our blue marble in the blackness of space, now capturing the imagination now
Capturing
the imagination of a new generation.
Fantasyland.
Just capture my imagination every time.
I mean, again, this is why we're doing this. All these people who feel captivated.
Inspires and excites people to dream and wonder.
Have big dreams.
Still having a hard time believing this is real.
When the sim begins, the mission is played out as if for real, following a script created by the simulation team.
The simulations were so real that no controller
could discern the difference between the training and the real mission.
Almost, trick us.
And say that we were in the simulator and it wasn't real.
We feel like they're real, and that becomes the only reality.
You guys are dummies. It's not even hard.
Here's main engine cutoff. You can see a stopwatch floating by, and flashes out the window are the 800-pound reaction control jets.
The flashing that you see is from the energized plasma in the overhead windows, the light reflecting off our suits and helmets. And Rick's got the camera, and that's what it looked like out the overhead window. It's just awesome. That's not the tail of the orbiter.
And you see the pink glow outside the windows. The flash is caused by the attitude control jets firing. You'll see a scene looking back aft on this 25-mile trailing plume of fire as we come flying into the atmosphere.
Maneuvered the orbiter to several different attitudes.
We reconverted the laboratory back to a spaceship, and here we are on entry day, Mach 17, 200,000 feet. You can see the flames out the front window. We're in the middle of a fireball during re-entry.
I wish I could describe to you what I'm seeing out my window here, but you can see that burnt orange down filling up the window, and then you see a very bright white light there just to the right. That's actually a thin blue band caused by sunrise.
Looking out the pilot's window here, we had a camcorder. This is as we're going into our thermal phase, which is our glow phase, or the area that we go through our thermal heating. The reflections you see off our backs, that's a picture of John there, and I'm on his right side. That's what we call, sometimes incorrectly, the plasma or the fire spikes that you see coming over top of through the payload bay windows, or through the overhead windows. The glow is some beautiful colors, and you can see we're just about through it.
This is what I saw from my seat with camcorder recording, both over my head up at the upper window, and what you see there is the plasma ionization on entry. And you can also tell by looking at the windows around John and Don, around the front there, the plasma glow.
And you can see the plasma behind us as we stream through the atmosphere, converting that energy back into heat.
The view out the overhead window as we were re-entering the atmosphere, and you can see the red light, the plasma is coming off the tail of the orbiter as we recontact the atmosphere. The entry in many ways is even more dramatic.
Up in Mach 24 range, and here you see the plasma.
I would love to be an astronaut one day. Hooray!
You are dumb. It's not hard.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
You thought that Satanism or these kinds of occult groups were about freedom and liberty, right? Well, he says, no, that's what we tell the lower level dumb people. Groups like the Church of Satan aren't real Satanists, and they're kind of fronts. for a higher elite connected to billionaires and very powerful people. He says at the higher levels, we understand that reality is not about freedom. It's a pure predator-prey relationship. And in this purely predator-prey relationship, he says we have the dominion and the right via nature to subjugate and destroy you in that predator-prey relationship. And so you thought all along, right, that, oh, there's just liberty, it's just freedom. No, it's not. It's a satanic New World Order.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
So they lie. Have you figured this out? They lie to you, right?
We have allowed science to replace myth and spirituality. The elite have done a great job at making it seem like the spiritual world is completely separate from the physical one.
Now what is happening is probably one of the most effective, diabolical means of propaganda. The television, the media, and people are watching that television and they believe in it. If the CNN says it, it must have happened. Powerful tool of mind control.
So a lot of people can't figure out what's going on because they won't look at, or they're deluded and blinded to the reality of a higher level connected spiritual plan that's at work in this global New World Order. There's really only two people in the world that understand that what's happening today is spiritual and that it involves a mass delusion. And who are those? It's people with Christian worldview, biblical worldview, versus people like this with a evil, self-conscious, satanic worldview. Those are really the only two people who at a high level, typically speaking, can really put all the puzzle pieces together. If you understand that this is a conscious, willed, evil plan, then it all begins to make sense.
See the actors dressed like workers, walking into the train station like robots. They raise and lower their right hands in a passionless salute to the elite whom they work for, whom they build the tunnels for, who sit in the audience watching this very performance. Then the first train car enters. This feels reminiscent of the unsuspecting people who were herded like cattle to their demise in concentration camps during the Holocaust, obedient to authority until the point of death. At some point they realize they are headed for the slaughter, but it's too late and there's no way out. The workers have served their purpose, and now they are to be exterminated, their souls sacrificed.
Christianity has so weakened itself that most people in the West no longer actually believe the stories of the Bible or Christianity, and yet they have the vague Christian morals. And so he makes this interesting argument that if Christianity isn't true, and most of the normies in the West are basing their, quote, morality on a purely pragmatic pseudo-Christian basis, which isn't true, he says then you don't actually have a reason to disagree with his hedonistic, pleasure-based, destructive morality. If God doesn't exist, if the Bible's not true, then there's not really a reason for the Western ghost of Christianity, ethics, and morals that it has, right? But if the religion is true, then we do have a basis. We have to at least admit that the Satanists are a little more adept at least understanding the reality of the spiritual realm than most of the Christian world, and that's precisely why Christianity is on the decline in the West and is losing, because we're allowing these degenerate, evil people, through our complicit, willful acquiescence, to rule over us.
Another train comes into the station. This train holds the enlightened man. He is alone, apart from the crowd, one of the few in a sea of ignorance. He desperately tries to destroy the infrastructure, but cannot because it is too large for him to take on alone. He is imprisoned by chains. Like a man who understands the truth in a world of people telling him he is crazy, he looks driven mad. The train is led by ignorant workers who probably think of him as a misfit rather than a fellow human.
This is the new deception. And so this order, this order that some people speak about is an order that would have religion on the side. People who believe in God, you consider to be an ignorant person, a backward person. It also glorifies race and nationalism. It also promotes class divisions. There's the rich and the poor, and it seems like in many countries, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That is what we see on the outside. On the inside of the people's hearts, they are being deceived into the love of the life of this world. And I think this is one of the greatest parts of this new world order, is that it is a confusion. It is a fantasy world being promoted to you. It is an international Disneyland, which is being propagated to the people of the world. So you think that that's what the world is. You think that everything will be okay if you live in a certain way, if you eat certain foods, if you act in a certain way. This is ghurur. It is deception.
Now, whether you believe that or not, doesn't really matter. You may think this is all nonsense. Oh, I don't believe any of that nonsense. That's crazy. But these people believe it, and they act upon it. This is their worldview. And they have a lot of power. They have a lot of money. And they see you as sheep to be trampled upon.
We are leading each other by the hand into the furnace. As long as the elite look at the masses like the masses look at cattle, wouldn't they be willing to do to us as we do to the animals?
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.